What's up, Carolina fans? You're listening to the Carolina Sports Update with Neil Curtis. We've got a good show for you today. A couple of our pro teams, pro teams are in their all-star breaks for tournaments right now, so we're not going to have a whole lot of them. However, that leaves things open for us to start talking more sports, particularly in college. If you like baseball, we'll get into that a little bit. We'll even talk a little women's basketball and maybe try and hit some more lesser known sports there in the college field. So stick around with us, and we have got a great show ready for you.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, iEsports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Like I said, we got a really good show for you today. We'll be talking a little bit on some of our pro teams. Obviously, we got a lot of off-season stuff going on, and then we have a couple of leagues that are into their breaks right now. But that doesn't mean we don't have that doesn't mean we have nothing to talk about. I didn't want to use a double negative there. I just do a quick touch-up here. For our Panthers, just kind of a quick update for everybody following along. So we've done a little bit of talk about upcoming free agency, a couple of different trade candidates. We've also started already looking a little bit at our draft options, and I'm hoping to get some more into that, especially as free agency kicks off here soon. We start to see where the team is going with in that regard. Hopefully be able to actually start watching some of these top prospects, give you my thoughts and opinions on where we're at. There's a lot of different options, a lot of different ways, even just within, 2 or 3 different positions at number 8, whether it's wide receiver, interior defensive line, or edge. I think those are kind of most people's big 3 spots that they want to try. They would like to see Carolina fill with that number 8 pick. And then even amongst those, there's a lot of options. I fully expect to see, the really top tier guys. Abdul Carter for sure will be gone by then. Mason Graham almost certainly will be gone by then. Although I feel like I have seen a few more mocks coming out lately where he slips a little bit for one reason or another. And then wide receiver front there, Tetro McMillan has been one of the consensus, at least first, sometimes second. But usually first wide receiver off the board, usually going around 6 or so, occasionally slipping to the Panthers. But we'll kind of see how that plays out and whether or not Carolina will be looking to upgrade their offense, give Bryce Young some more weapons, or starting to fix this really beleaguered defense. But aside from that, I also wanted to talk a little bit about some schedule going forward. Just give a quick update on what we can expect over the next couple of months, just so everybody's on the same page. So we expect to see here, starting February 18th and lasting until March 4th, franchise tags can be issued by teams to their players. David Newton had a paragraph in an ESPN article about what players each team could possibly franchise tag, and he probably had the shortest response of all the writers, I think, which was essentially none. No, according to David Newton, nobody on this team right now is worth the franchise tag, costing Carolina roster spots, a potential to trade them away or let them go so they can move on to other players. So kind of a big statement there from David Newton. So again, that starts February 18th. That starts tomorrow. The Panthers can start franchise tagging players. Then on the 24th, next Monday, the scouting combine kicks off, and it runs all next week and into March 3rd. So that'll be an exciting week or so to see how these players test out. Of course, testing isn't everything, but it does give you, I think there are some of the tests that they run, especially like the shuttle drills, 3 cones, things like that, that give you at least a good understanding of their athletic ability, their explosiveness, change of direction, things like that that you like to see from some of these players. So that I think those drills are interesting. Plus, you get all the teams are together. You've got the general managers, you've got coaches, are all in one spot. So it's a good opportunity too for the main media to really get out there, start mixing it up, talking to a lot of the team officials, not only in the dome and on the field, but of course the bars and dinner parties that happen throughout the week afterwards gives a good opportunity to get some of that backdoor chatter and see which way teams are leaning and who they're looking at more heavily. And then going into next month, March 10th, starts the legal tampering period. So this is when free agency really kicks off. Teams can contact and enter into negotiations with unrestricted free agents. It's called the legal tampering period. But they can't actually start signing contracts until 4 p.m. on March 12th. But from the 10th through the 12th, that's when you're going to start seeing breaking news on teams talking to and working out contract deals with unrestricted free agents. So that'll be a huge kickoff. Again, looking forward to seeing what the Panthers do during that period. And I think it will have a big impact on their direction in the draft. And then April 18th will be the deadline for restricted free agents to sign their offer sheets from their respective teams. So we'll see that happen. And then April 24th through the 26th is the NFL draft. By then, Carolina should have landed a couple of key free agents and really have a good sense of direction from them. So that'll be an exciting few nights. I love the draft. I think it's incredibly fun. I a few years ago, I started, even watching draft day, the day before the draft, just to kind of get pumped up. I know, it's not exactly the most realistic of movies, but man, it's a lot of fun to watch that. So thanks to the chats. I got a good chat question here we'll address later too, but Arizona Sports, thanks for the compliment. Sorry. And then so I always enjoy the draft. I actually really like day 2. It's honestly my favorite day of the draft. If it were me, I'd stock up on as many day 2 picks as possible. Day 3 can also be a lot of fun. But day 2 is what really happens. The first day, round 1, kind of feels like your birthday or Christmas, where you get there's all this anticipation, all this hype. You're excited to see who's going to be, and then you see it, and you're like, oh, okay. And then the rest of the day is just done. But day 2, you got two rounds going. Round 2 and 3 are going. There's a lot more trading, I feel, that's going on. You may know exactly where your team's picking, and you've got it lined up. And you're like, okay, I'll check back in at this time. And they come back and they've traded out of the spot. Maybe they've gone up early and picked somebody you weren't expecting, or maybe they've traded back and picked up a couple extra picks. And you're like left flat-footed, like, oh crap, that was not expected. So you gotta watch it. You gotta pay attention and see what's going on. So I really enjoy day 2. That's, I think, the most fun. And then day 3 is also a good time. Although you're starting to get into those picks that, let's be honest, they're day 3 picks for a reason. You can find some gems, and you can find some good players, but you're really trading. And the further down you get on the through rounds and on the draft board, more of a I feel like a dart throw. A lot of players become. You really got to know what their character makeup is like. Some of their traits will help out a lot, but they probably didn't have quite the production you would have liked in college, and so they're going a little bit later in those rounds and see how they can work out for your team. And then finally, after the draft, you have May 1st. Fifth-year options should be offered by May 1st. I think Carolina's got J.C. Horn, I think, is up for his fifth-year option this year. I expect to see that get offered, if not offered and then a contract worked out. But I expect to see J.C. Horn back for the Panthers for at least a couple more years. He had his first fully healthy season this year. Played very well. He's always played very well when healthy. It's just been a matter of his first few seasons just kept butting up against injuries and that were taking him out, especially his first 2 seasons. He missed the majority of those due to injury. Third season, missed a little bit less, but still opted out. I think opted out of a couple games just to make sure. And then this past year, played a lot more through the season. So I played very well. I don't know if you would classify him like your lockdown, tried and true corner, but definitely well above average. Very good corner. Plays very well. And so I definitely expect to see him coming back on at least a 5th, if not a new at least a contract. So, all right. So that's what we've got there real quick. Like I said, for Carolina Panthers. Should be interesting couple of months following along with them. And then next up, we'll talk a really quick, so not much, some Hurricanes chat. Again, not a lot going on right now, mostly because of the Four Nations face-off that's been going on. USA has been doing well there. And then Carolina obviously has not played. No moves either. And I think they've got about another month left to go in their own before their trade deadline. Haven't seen or heard any rumors about acquiring any more players since their big acquisition a couple weeks ago. But I've said before, if you want to know more about this Four Nations face-off, it's apparently been a pretty good time. A lot of people are telling it's much better than any of the other all-star games, maybe better than baseball. And definitely better than football and basketball all-star breaks. Then check out the Neutral Zone. They are right here on IE Sports Radio, and they are into it, digging it, having a great time watching the face-off there. All right. Also, on an all-star break, Charlotte Hornets. But we do have a couple of games that we can chat about here real quick. Before they went into the break, we haven't had a chance to catch up on them prior to their break, but not the best outcome that we could have wanted. Played the Orlando Magic right before break, losing that game 86 to 102. And that follows a previous loss to Brooklyn as well. That was 89 to 97. Another tough couple of losses. The Hornets really starting to our injuries are really starting to take their toll on the Hornets here. See a couple of chats and posts on X, Twitter, about whether or not the Hornets are maybe cursed because of all the injuries that they keep dealing with. But certainly something going on there, it feels like. Their next up will be at the Los Angeles Lakers on the 19th. So that's in 2 nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, because it's a West Coast game. But real quick on the Orlando Magic game, Nick Smith Jr. Ejected in the first half of that game after some kind of unsportsmanlike, but it's not really that bad. Giving up a foul to try to stop, kind of a calculated foul to give to slow down the play and prevent a score. But then as half expired, second quarter expired, half expired, the instead of doing the courteous sportsmanlike thing and tossing the ball to the ref. He just kind of tossed it off to the side, out of bounds, and so that earned him an ejection. Orlando then went on to pull away in the third, opened up a double-digit lead, kept it throughout the fourth, and just put away the Hornets rather easily. Not what you want to see. Prior to that, play against the Brooklyn Nets, also not a great outcome there, obviously with the loss, but also LaMelo Ball came out, played the first 10 minutes of the game, and then went out with right ankle soreness. It's fine. My notes for this say ankle sourness, not sourness, soreness. But he goes out with right ankle soreness. This is after already missing several games due to left ankle pain. Now right ankle pain. So not boding well there. Sometimes you know how it is. You hurt one side, you hurt like your left leg or something like that. So you kind of start to favor it a little bit, and then that ends up causing an injury on the right side. So maybe there's a little something there. But he is going to be, out for the time being with that right ankle. And then Diabiate against Brooklyn had a career high 21 points. Great game for him in that sense. And great, I think, potential there from him, and a very good omen for Charlotte, having a player having that kind of performance out of Diabiate. But he did suffer a right eye abrasion in that game. He is now day to day. We'll see if this break is going to give him enough time to get healed up. He missed the Orlando Magic game. I'll see if he heals up during the break. Is ready to come back against the Lakers in a couple of nights. In addition to those two guys, you've still got Williams out. Center to try to trade away. Not disclose what he is out with exactly, but I mean, if he supposedly failed his physical with the Lakers, then it could be anything. Previously he's had some back issues, but apparently that was not the cause of his failed physical. So one would think that is not what he's out with right now. However, the Hornets are keeping him out. In addition to that, their trade drama continues on with the Lakers. Possibly filing a what's the word I want? Request to have the trade relooked at to push the trade through with Los Angeles, saying that Los Angeles unfairly pushed back the trade. So we'll see. And then Okogie has got a left hamstring strain. That happened about 2 weeks ago. They said he would be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So now we're down to about 1 week from now. He should be reevaluated again and see how he's ready to go. But really, the injury bug taking its toll on the Hornets and keeping them, I think, from reaching a lot of their potential. So if you want to great, I'm getting intermittent connectivity. Stay with me, computer. Stay with me, internet. I don't need to lose you now. But check out Fast Break right here on IA Sports Radio. They are covering the All-Star NBA All-Star break, All-Star game. I've got all that you need for that. All right, and now let's see. I got one last thing. We'll talk a little bit about our. Oh, that's not ticking, is it? Dang it. All right, Charlotte FC. Let's just talk real quick about them. It's going have my little ticker, but no, they will be playing this weekend at the Seattle Sounders. MLS is back. Major League Soccer is back. There we go. Let's just say it. And we'll be back this weekend for the Charlotte FC playing the Seattle Sounders at 10:30 p.m. East Coast time, of course, because again, West Coast game. Looking forward to seeing them pick up where they left off. Had a great playoff run. It ended, unfortunately, against Orlando on penalty kicks. Looking forward to seeing what they can do this season, see if they can keep the momentum going. We've talked about before, brought in a couple really good players. And I know it's not everything, obviously, but I think the new Fortress kit that they just dropped a couple days ago looks totally awesome and it looks really sweet. I would definitely love to pick that up sometime. So if you want to help me out with that, you can be a supporter. I should have that link here at the end of our show. You can check that link out and become a supporter. And I promise to use all proceeds to buy kit, jerseys, things like that to wear on the show and to show off all of our different teams. I may, depending on how the supporter goes, I may even wear a Duke or NC State jersey, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to need your guys' support to help me get through that ordeal, but I'll do it for your show. I'll do it for the pod. And then one last note, Haas, Formula One F1 team based just outside of Charlotte, maybe having some new neighbors move in. It's looking like Cadillac F1 is interested in also setting up shop just outside of Charlotte. So that should be pretty awesome. A lot of great news there for the area. Cadillac, unlike Haas, plans to be, forget exactly what the term is, essentially their own constructor. So they will build their own car, build their own engines, and everything will be in-house after a couple of years. I think they'll be borrowing engines for the first 2 to 3 years. But then after that, they expect to have their engines supplied by GM. And then if they get set up and get going outside of Charlotte, that could be additional boom there for Charlotte, and really solidifying Charlotte, North Carolina as, racing, I think, capital of the U.S. And really, I mean, you got 2 F1 teams operating out of there. I know Haas has got a very small F1 operation there, but still, both American F1 teams operating out of the same area really helps set that area up on the map, I think, for a lot of international recognition. And then we will see, let's see, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, Haas, along with the other 9 F1 teams, will unveil their new car with its new specs and livery. Their color pattern should be coming out tomorrow. It should be a pretty fun event. I won't get too far into that. I'll keep it just to Haas and eventually, hopefully, maybe Cadillac and talk about them. But again, if you want to check out all the latest and greatest racing news, be sure to check out the Extra Mile here on IE Sports Radio. They are covering all the racing you could ever want. They should have a great show here about the Daytona 100 just went down. So be sure to give them a listen and follow along with them. All right. I am going to jump to a quick break with a couple of drops from our other shows. And when we get back, we will dive into some college sports. We'll kick it off like we normally do and talk some ACC, SEC basketball. But then, because we had a little less on the pro sports to talk about, we'll try to dive into some other college sports, see how far we get. I got a pretty deep bench for some of those more random sports out there, but should be a pretty good time talking through those. All right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile. with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Everybody, this is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Carolina Sports Update here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all of sports. As promised, let's go ahead and get in to a little bit of our. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. Where did you go? There you are. A little bit college basketball. We'll kick it off as always. My Carolina Tar Heels. Where we left off last time, we were right before the Clemson game. And I mentioned that was going to be one heck of a tough game. And sure enough, it was. It was an incredibly hard game. Carolina held in for, let's see, the first, just over halfway through the first half. They were actually up 23-21, but that would be their last lead. They took that lead on the RJ Davis three-pointer, and then that was it. It was over. Clemson took over from that point forward, pushed it out, kept it about a 20-point game throughout, and ended up with the win. Let's see. 85-65. Again, 20-point blowout. Played hard at times, but just so incredibly inconsistent. And again, I felt like the post play was not there. Absolutely lacking there, and really tough game for them. You had to go into that game with your ire up, ready to go, ready to try to punch these guys, and I just didn't see that from this team. And it's really been something that I feel like that's been a kind of a constant theme for this team throughout the season. So I don't know what it's going to take to get that fire going in them, but we'll see how that goes. Fortunately, though, for Carolina, they followed that loss up, the 88-82 win over Syracuse, at Syracuse, no less, with Ian Jackson and Jalen Wither leading the scoring. Jackson had 23 points, career high, 5 3-pointers, and Wither had a season high 19 points. Played really well in the post. I really liked him throughout the season. He's kind of come and gone in games. You'd see him play a couple of games, play really tough, and play really hard, and then for 2 games just seemed to disappear. And Carolina turned to Lubin, who has been, I think, hit and miss, more miss than hit, especially down in the post. Tends to get bullied around down low. And so you've seen that again throughout the season with Carolina's rebounding issues. Let's see. According to ESPN, 36.7 rebounds per game. That's 140th in the nation. We're talking about a team that's usually in the top 10 rebounding, like legitimately top 10 rebounding team in the nation. And they're 140th right now. I know there's like a thin margin there. I think Duke has 38. Yeah, 38.4. So less than 2 extra rebounds per game, and they're 57th. So, there's a huge jump with smaller margins, but still, Carolina being 140th and rebounding in the nation is just not the type of ball that Carolina has played over the past several seasons. Again, we also saw where this Syracuse game in particular, the shooting was on point, and so the team was on point and had, I don't call it an easy win. They were up by double digits a couple times, but 49% field goals shooting, 46% three-pointers, but only 62% for free throws. And that almost probably cost them this game, to be honest, to allow Syracuse to get back into it, to make it a 6-point game when you're shooting that well. So a lot of work to be done for UNC. Got a good question in the comments from Rick Keeler, whether or not, let's see, I need to see what do they make a coaching change if we don't make the tournament? I know a lot of people are already calling for a coaching change for the Tar Heels. I don't think we're there yet. I get it. I know we're not playing up to the level and the caliber of a team that we've come to expect from Carolina. There is a good amount of talent on this team that you would expect them to be able to play better than they have. Again, that fire, that competitive spirit sometimes seems to come and go at like the worst possible times. I also think like Carolina has been able to establish themselves and build themselves on, really strong post player. We had Armando Bacot for years, literally years, playing down the post. Obviously, he's missed this year. We even had Brady Manick a couple of years ago, paired up with him as well. He more known as more of a shooting threat, but also, was able to get down, grab a lot of rebounds as well. But you see this team struggles with their size. They do not have that kind of physical dominating presence they had before. We've mentioned it. We expect to see that coming in next year. I think it's I've already forgotten the book. Is it Wilson coming in, one of the top recruits for the Tar Heels, and let's see. Yeah, so we expect to see him come in. Should provide a lot of relief down low. Yeah, top 10 prospect Wilson coming in and should really, I think because of that, typically you don't see on Carolina freshmen getting a lot of playing time. I think he'll get probably significantly more playing time than what you've seen. I don't think it's time to move on from Davis just yet. I know we had some poor performances when I was in college. I was going through from the Matt Doherty teams, but the players were also very much against him by the end of his tenure. They didn't like his coaching style. They didn't like working with him. They actually went to the administration and asked for him to be removed. I don't think you're going to see that from this team and from this group of players. I think they will fight to keep Davis there. They love playing for him, and I think they'll continue to fight for him. I think if we bring in this recruiting class next year, especially Wilson, and we still continue to struggle, that's when you're really going to see a push for a coaching change, especially given that they plan on bringing in a general manager for the team to help start working on the NIL deals, the transfer portal, and things like that, to take that part off of Davis's shoulders and allow him to continue to just focus on coaching while the general manager focuses on that stuff. So I think they'll give that at least a year to work out to see if allowing Davis to focus only on coaching gets him back into a groove with the players. So there's my opinion for that. I'll see how it works out, but I don't think they're going to be so quick to pull the trigger. All right. Following up that, we'll talk a little bit of Duke basketball. Blue Devils continue to destroy everybody but Clemson. But again, just on an absolute tear. They, following their loss to Clemson, they slip one spot down from number 2 to number 3. But go out to the West Coast, dominate on the West Coast, beat Cal first, 78-57, and then follow that up with a 106-70 win over Stanford. Their next game will be at Virginia tonight at 8 p.m. Latest bracket NCAA tournament bracket preview has Duke as a number 1 seed, the number 3 overall. They are behind Auburn, who is the unanimous number 1, and Alabama after them, and then Duke and Florida as the number 4, the 4th number 1 seed. So Duke just continues to cruise, continues to build their resume and play really well. Go back real quick. UNC's next game, another big game, winnable game, going to be absolutely tough and a complete knife fight maybe against North Carolina State Wolfpack. That will be in 2 nights, 7 p.m. at Chapel Hill. So that will be quite the game going on there. All right. Speaking of NC State, and let's roll right into that, shall we? Like that transition? I did. Worked out for me. All right. NC State Wolfpack coming off their first win since January 8th when they beat Notre Dame. They take down Boston College 70-62. Jaden Taylor led the Wolfpack with 19 points. My opinion too, this is why I'm concerned about the North Carolina and the NC State game in a couple nights. Again, where NC State's at, they're sitting at 3-11 in the league. North Carolina is 8-6, but NC State against Boston College, much more convincing win than UNC when they beat Boston College. Again, UNC had to take it to overtime to get that win. NC State able to get it done not easily, but 8-point win is a pretty solid win there, and gets them going and pumped up again. So they'll be coming off that win after a long losing streak, and they will definitely be looking to try to continue that when they come to Chapel Hill on Wednesday night. All right, next up, let's get to some Wake Forest action. These guys again continue to play well. I feel like there's a theme. They are very good with these 60 and 70 point games. They knock off SMU 77-66, a comfortable 11-point win, breaking SMU's 5-game win streak. This comes after a bonehead head scratcher of a loss to Florida State. Let's see. So SMU played SMU, trailed by 2 at the half, but then came out of the half on a big run, 19-8, and then led comfortably from there, cruising to an 11-point win. But before that, again, playing FSU, they lost 72-70. This is after leading by 14 at the half, and then leading by 16 with 8:22 to go. And then at that point, Florida State went on a 17-4 run. It was 45-61 when Florida State went on that run. That closed it down to a 3-point gap to 65 to 62. So, and then from there, Florida State battled back and forth with them a little bit, and outlasted Wake Forest to get the win in Wake Forest. So, again, a little bit of head scratcher, but Wake Forest still with a pretty decent resume. They are looking a little bit better for their chances to get into the NCAA tournament. Definitely better than North Carolina. Try to take a look here at the bubble watch in a couple of minutes, but looking pretty good for our Wake Forest. Looking pretty good, looking pretty tough. They are next up against. They will play NC State after State plays UNC. That'll be on the 22nd this Saturday at 2 p.m. And then they follow their next few games: NC State, Virginia, and Notre Dame. And then they finish off with Duke and Georgia Tech. Obviously, that Duke game is going to be incredibly tough, but NC State, Virginia, even Notre Dame should be winnable games for sure. I think that Notre Dame game will give them a little bit more weight to their resume, and then if they can make a good run into the ACC tournament, they might actually be able to find their way into the NCAA tournament. All right, moving right along, we'll get into some Clemson Tiger basketball for the best team in the ACC, not named the Blue Devils. So following the drubbing of North Carolina, Clemson plays Florida State. Goes to Florida State and beats them 72-46 on Florida State's own court. And according to ESPN, they are now a lock for the NCAA tournament. Their next game will be SMU again this Saturday. That's going to be at 4 p.m. They follow that up with games against Notre Dame, Virginia, Boston College, and Virginia Tech. Provided they don't get sleepy, all very winnable games. You can see why ESPN's got them as a lock. Let's see. And then talking about that. Let's talk about that just a little bit. ESPN looking at the ACC, three teams that are locks. You're looking at the Duke Blue Devils, 100% chance to make it. Again, we just talked about they are currently projected as a number 1 seed, number 3 overall. I don't know what just happened there. Page jumped. Thanks for doing that. Then Clemson, 100% lock, and then the Louisville Cardinals, looking at 100% lock, going down the stretch. Teams that are still on the bubble need to beef up their resume, like I said. Starts with SMU, but then goes to Wake Forest. They are now sitting at a 60% chance. I think the last time I talked about this, they were looking at like 18%. So took a huge jump, especially with that win against SMU, because SMU, again, being one of those bubble teams, Wake Forest able to take them down, gives them a good boost, as well as the win against North Carolina and Pitt. Also considered bubble teams to an extent. So again, like I said, if Wake Forest can rattle off a couple of wins here at the end, get a good ACC tournament run, I think we could see them in the tournament if possible there. Finally, North Carolina, seeing their chances slip away more and more each day. I think the last time we talked, they had them at like 80%. They're all the way down to 28% at this point. They have a lot of work to do. They're going to need a really deep ACC run, maybe even an upset win against Duke at Carolina here to end out the season, and then try to take that energy with them into the ACC tournament and get a deep run going on there. But it's going to be a tough road for them. All right, let's follow up with our last team here. For South Carolina Gamecocks, We're talking about these guys. Reading up on them, other people are starting out on the same thing too. Still looking for their first SEC win, sitting at 0-12 now. They lost to University of Florida, number 3, I think. University of Florida, 67-88. However, like again, hard fighting team here. They were down by only 4 at the half. So it's not like these guys don't fight. I wish, UNC had half this fight in them, but they were running down by 4 at the half. But then second half, Florida just kind of turned it on, blew them out. They, before that, played at the time number 19 Ole Miss. They were down by 12, rallied and led by 2 with just over 3 minutes to go. But Ole Miss was able to hold on for that win, fend off the Gamecocks, and pull out a 4-point win, 72-68 there. So even with, some really strong rallies, some really strong games, they're still just coming up just a little bit short in one of the best conferences for basketball this year. And hopefully we can see them get at least one win in the SEC. Their next up is LSU. That's going to be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Another one of those kind of weird late Tuesday night games that have been popping up, I think, this year. After that, they've got Texas, and they've got number 15 Missouri, and then Arkansas, Georgia, and number 6 Tennessee. At number 6 Tennessee to close out the year. So not an easy schedule. LSU sitting in the conference right above them at 2-10. So definitely some potential there. Georgia even sitting at 4-9. A chance there to get a win. And Arkansas 4-8. There's a couple of openings there. They could pick up, 1 or 2 wins, I think, coming down the stretch. But it's going to be tough, for sure. Let's just hope that South Carolina can be maybe a little bit tougher, All right. I'm going to cut out for another quick break for some more drops from our other pods. And then when we get back, should have about 5 minutes or so to dive into dive into some lesser followed sports. I'll stick around and we will be right back.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, IE Sports Radio family and other sports families. My name is Alden Kay, and I want to welcome you to the AZ Sports Zone on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you're a fan of the Valley and the Grand Canyon State like me, then I've got the show for you. Tune in every week, where I will update you and give you the latest news for the Arizona Cardinals, Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks, ASU Sun Devils, U of A Wildcats, GCU Antelope, and of course, the NAU Lumberjacks. Again, if you're a Valley sports fan and like all that is desert sports like me, tune in every week here on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll see you then.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get into a little bit of NCAA baseball. In the pros, spring training is kicking off this week. Will be underway soon. Unfortunately, the Carolinas do not have a pro team, but we do have a lot of college baseball to talk about. So this might become a full-on segment here, depending on how things go. We've got a lot of teams in the top 25 baseball. So I try to do just a quick recap rundown here as we get towards the end of our time. So kicking it off, number 6, UNC started the season 3-0 with a sweep of Texas Tech. I think they actually opened the season at 8 or 9, moved up to number 6, I think, with that sweep. It's been interesting watching UNC, fun watching UNC off and on, baseball off and on over the past 10 years or so. It's hard to believe how long ago their back-to-back World Series appearances or college baseball World Series appearances were. But looking forward and hoping for another strong season from them. And they are off to a great start already. Kicking it off from there, number 12, NC State. Also started off 3-0. They sweep Fordham University. So seeing they're strong at number 12. And then we follow them right up at number 13 with Wake Forest. They earned 2 sweeps to go 4-0, taking 2 games against Long Island University and 2 games against Marist University. Search me. I have no idea where Marist is. I usually know, even with like little small places like that, I usually have at least an idea of where they might be. Long Island University, I think that speaks for itself, but Marist, I have no idea. So, and then we keep on going one right after the other. Clemson is sitting at number 14 as well. They start off 2-1. They played Oklahoma State, beat them. Arizona beat them as well. So Arizona, previously been ranked 21, they dropped out of the rankings with that loss. Oklahoma State, I think at the time was ranked 17. They dropped to 19. Yep, sorry, there it is right there. Previously ranked 17, they dropped to 19 with that loss to Clemson. And Clemson goes from 15 up to 14 with those two, with that 2-1 record. But they did lose to Ole Miss, so I think that kind of held them back from moving up too far. A couple of places down from there, Duke is number 17. Although they kind of stumbled out of the gates a little bit, they played a 3-game series against Cincinnati. They go 1-2 against them. That allows Cincinnati to crack into the top 25, previously unranked. They're ranked 25th now, and Duke fortunately drops from 11 to 17. So just a nice quick recap there of our some of the better baseball teams. South Carolina, not to be go completely unannounced, they also go 3-0. They sweep Sacred Heart over 3 games. And then UNC Wilmington gets the upset of number 8 Georgia, winning one of their games against them 6-2. Georgia now, sits at 3-1 and holds steady at number 8. But UNCW with the nice win there. All right, still want to keep talking some more here. Try to squeeze in. I know we're going to go a little over time, but I'm excited for some of these things. So NCAA women's basketball has been amazing all year. In fact, I think for UNC and NC State in particular, these teams have been far more interesting, far more successful, and just a better watch than probably the men's program. But number 12 UNC took on number 10 NC State on Sunday. UNC squeaks out the 66-65 win. Grace Townsend nails 2 free throws with 5 seconds left to go. I think she had come in shooting 61% from the line. So to get both of those shots in that pressure situation, down by 1, amazing job by her. And then UNC able to kind of get the clamp down at the opposite end defensively to keep NC State from getting a shot off, and ball going out of bounds as time expired, and UNC takes the win. This bumped UNC from their 12th position to number 9, top 10 ranking for UNC. Fantastic news for them. I think I saw it ties Bang Hart's record number of wins for her time here at UNC. And NC State slips a couple spots from 10 to 13. So we'll almost certainly see those two teams face off again. And as always, should be a great contest. Other news, NCAA women, number 4, South Carolina, always a incredibly hard team. I remember watching UNC play them last year, and I think the first game was an incredibly tough game. South Carolina ended up pulling away in the second half for a mostly comfortable win, and then I think they played them again, and South Carolina actually just kind of destroyed them in the second meeting. But number 4 South Carolina lost to number 7 UConn. Bit of an upset there, but bigger news than that. South Carolina had their 71-game home win streak snapped with that loss. And then it drops them from number 4 to number 6. And Duke beat Wake Forest. That allowed the women, Duke Blue Devil and Lady Blue Devils, to move up to number 11 in the rankings. So some interesting news, some good news there, as those Carolina teams, North Carolina, South Carolina teams, continue to play and continue to show out, and the sport continues to grow. All right. I was going to talk a little lacrosse as well, but I think we're running out of time. Suffice it to say, we got a lot of good ACC teams sitting up in the top of the standings. Again, North Carolina women's lacrosse sitting at number 3. You've got a couple more. Clemson and Duke are 18 and 19 respectively. So hopefully should be looking forward to some good things out of them on this season. All of them, right? Yep, all are currently undefeated, 2-0, 1-0. So starting their seasons off strong. And then for men's lacrosse, also strong showing from the Carolina teams. Duke leading the way there at number 8 and 2-0, followed by North Carolina at number 11, 1-0, and that's it. I thought Clemson said this. So that'll be it for the men's lacrosse. We'll try to get into. Maybe try to take a look at soccer as well. That should be coming out, and follow along with those scores as well. All right. I hoped you all enjoyed hope you all enjoyed the episode, enjoyed getting into some uncharted territory, talking about where's it go? Oh, I kept that going, huh? Talking some uncharted territory, going into some uncharted territory, looking at some improved, or not improved, but some new sports, some new updates, and I'm trying to figure out how to close this out better, and I am sucking at my job. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the added sports, and I hope to see you in my supporters section and back for the next episode next week. With that, you all have a great rest of your week.